Miss GoElectric here. Today is Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, and this is The Current, your weekly EV news in about 10 minutes. Chevrolet has sparked excitement with a teaser of the 2027 Bolt EV by posting some photos on their social media pages. The reimagined Bolt, returning after its discontinuation in 2023, will feature a refreshed design with updated front and rear fascias, a North American charging system port with Tesla supercharger access, and a more efficient lithium iron phosphate battery pack. Expected to offer more range and faster charging than the previous generation with the new battery technology, the Bolt aims to maintain its reputation for affordability, with pricing slightly above the previous model's $28,795 starting point. That wouldn't leave much room between it and the starting $34,995 starting price of their Equinox EV. The new model is set to begin production later this year at GM's Fairfax assembly plant in Kansas City, Kansas. GM's president Mark Reuss hinted at a family of Bolts, including an even lower-cost variant in previous earnings calls. More details are expected this fall, with more affordable EVs on the way, including the stripped-down Model Y, Nissan Leaf, and Kia EV3. Which automaker do you think is best positioned to make the most impact down market? Back in March of last year, we reported on Volkswagen subsidiary and Spanish performance brand Cupra's entry into the US market. The brand initially planned to launch an electric Formentor crossover and a larger electric SUV, with the latter to be built in Mexico, leveraging VW manufacturing by 2030. This week, the brand has announced that it has postponed its planned US market launch without specifying a new timeline. The decision, announced in Cupra's Q2 2025 earnings report, cites uncertainties in U.S. trade policies, including potential import tariffs and a slowdown in electric vehicle demand as key factors. The company had plans to initially launch a new distribution model, but was later in talks to establish 20 Cupra City garages through a partnership with Penske Automotive Group, which owns 203 dealerships across the U.S. SEAT's chief sales officer emphasized that the delay is not a cancellation, stating, "We're not stopping, just postponing our U.S. launch and will continue to monitor market developments." Instead, Cupra will focus on expanding in other high-potential markets while refining its U.S. strategy. In recent weeks, President Trump has negotiated tariff rates with Japan, South Korea, and the EU down to 15% on automotive imports. That is down from the EU's previous 27.5% tariff rate that the president established back in April. The United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, also known as the USMCA, requires at least 75% of their parts to originate from the United States, Mexico, or Canada, and sets the tariff to 0% for the portion of the vehicles which meets those requirements. However, any non-USMCA compliant content in these vehicles faces an additional 25% tariff on the non-originating portion. For example, a vehicle with 50% US content would face an effective tariff rate of approximately 12.5%, while a vehicle with 30% US content would face an effective tariff rate of about 17.5%. On average, Mexican-made vehicles are subject to an effective tariff rate of around 15% due to varying levels of US content. So no matter if Cupra shipped cars from Spain or Mexico, some tariff would still apply. Could this be an opportunity for Cupra to follow in the steps of the direct-to-consumer model being pioneered by the VW-owned Scout brand? Or maybe incorporate the platform both Rivian and Volkswagen are scaling up under their new joint venture to capitalize on local components? As the story develops, we will keep you updated. Toyota has announced a strategic shift in its electric vehicle production plans, confirming to Automotive News that it will build its all-new 3-row EVs at its Georgetown, Kentucky plant starting in 2026. Initially planned for its Indiana facility with production to begin in 2025, the move consolidates EV production to Kentucky, allowing Toyota to increase output of their popular gas and hybrid-powered Grand Highlander in Indiana. The report also confirms that one of the 3-row EVs will be named Highlander EV, sticking with a familiar nameplate instead of incorporating a new naming scheme or its current BZ nomenclature. The decision follows a $1.3 billion investment in the Kentucky plant, including an assembly line for EV battery packs, which will support the Highlander EV and the other 3-row electric SUV, both expected to hit the US market as 2027 models. This facility has an annual capacity of approximately 550,000 vehicles and currently produces the Toyota Camry, RAV4 Hybrid, and Lexus ES, but Toyota has stated that they will shift production of the latter two models to make way for the new EVs. Batteries for these models are expected to be sourced from Toyota's North Carolina facility. Automakers perpetually adjust strategies to maximize operations as policies and economic trends shift. We expect high levels of fluidity for the foreseeable future. Charging network EVgo has secured a $225 million senior secured credit facility to accelerate the expansion of its fast charging network across the U.S. This type of loan or credit arrangement is provided by lenders such as banks, where the borrower receives funds that are backed by collateral, typically assets like property, equipment, or accounts receivable. The 5-year deal, with an option to increase to $300 million, will fund the deployment of over 1,500 fast charging stalls, including the expansion of EVgo's dedicated charging hubs business, serving autonomous vehicles and other fleet partners, as well as EVgo's public fast charging network, with the flexibility to include stalls that do not fall within the scope of EVgo's existing debt financing. The company currently operates over 1,100 fast charging stations across more than 40 states. In 2021, EVgo and General Motors said that they would deploy 3,250 DC fast charging stalls by the end of 2025. In 2022, EVgo, GM Energy, and Pilot and Flying J inked a deal to install 2,000 charging stations at up to 500 Pilot and Flying J locations. In November of last year, the company said they would build 480 stalls with Midwest grocery chain Meijer. And as we reported in December of last year, EVgo secured a $1.25 billion loan guarantee to support the deployment of approximately 7,500 charging stalls over a 5-year period. With all of its recent announcements combined, the company has plans to deploy over 10,000 charging stalls within the next 5 years. The company has 4,240 stalls in operation as of Q1 of this year. A crucial element of effective charging infrastructure growth is reliability. Chargepoint locations are commonly operated by third parties, and the network does not have a leading track record of keeping those stations operational. This week, Chargepoint introduced a new maintenance program called Safeguard Care aimed at improving uptime and functionality. Service technicians in California, Florida, New York, Texas, Massachusetts, and Georgia will conduct routine inspections, cleaning, minor repairs, and testing. Designed for high-traffic sites like municipalities, parking garages, and workplaces, the company says Safeguard Care complements ChargePoint's existing Assure program, which addresses issues proactively to minimize downtime. The company plans to expand the program based on demand. Chargepoint was founded in 2007 and became publicly traded in March of 2021 through a merger with a Special Purpose Acquisition Company, or SPAC. Since then, the stock has lost over 98% of its value despite launching an expanded hardware lineup and novel integration of anti-theft cable solutions. Reliability and accountability are a sure path to an improved reputation, and we welcome improvements across the board. If you'd like to see our full tour of the ChargePoint headquarters along with a look into their unique business model, I'll include a link to that in this video's description. More sustainable transportation is on the way in New York State. Governor Kathy Hochul has announced a $21 million clean mobility program to fund community-led projects promoting zero-emission transportation across New York State. Administered by the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, the initiative will support innovative solutions like electric bikes, scooters, shared electric vehicles, and on-demand transit services with a focus on underserved and disadvantaged communities. The program, funded through the Clean Energy Fund, Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, and Micromobility Make Ready funds, aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, and enhance access to jobs and services. Up to $3 million per project will be awarded, prioritizing proposals that address transportation challenges in marginalized areas. Additionally, up to $8 million is set aside to fund demonstration projects located in specific areas of the state, including those served by upstate investor-owned utilities. This includes a total of up to $5 million for micromobility projects in the Central Hudson, National Grid, New York State Electric and Gas, and Rochester Electric and Gas region, and up to $3 million for any type of eligible demonstration projects located in the Bronx. Applications for demonstration projects are open through September 25th. NYSERDA will host an informational webinar on August 7th to provide more explanations on the solicitation, project requirements, and the application process. I'll include links in the video's description if you want to learn more about this program or if you want to share it with someone you may know. Finally, closer to home for us, the state of Tennessee has confirmed that a 10-mile underground electric transit system will be constructed from the Nashville airport to the convention center downtown. The project, dubbed the Music City Loop, is entirely privately funded, enabling rapid permitting, which has already been granted for construction equipment to begin staging near the state capitol with a duration of 22 months. That is our best indicator of the project duration in lieu of any official timetable statements. The boring company has the contract and their perfrock machine can bore 1 mile per week once it is in place. Finishing work and station builds takes more time. The first phase of the project is a 10-mile line, but it has been designed to accommodate additional stops in the future. The first big boring company project in Las Vegas, Nevada started in 2019 and began operation 18 months later. So far, the Vegas Loop has moved more than 3 million passengers to date, alleviating surface traffic. That project is currently about 6 miles with 8 stops, but work continues towards the end goal of 104 stations and 68 miles. Today, Tesla's electric SUVs, including the Model Y and Model X, operate in those tunnels, and Tesla's Robovan appears to have been designed for moving larger groups autonomously through these networks in the future. The Nashville project is expected to be operational as early as fall of 2026 and cut the commute time from downtown to the airport to just 8 minutes. The company says this will result in smarter traffic management by removing thousands of vehicles from roadways and state highways daily, easing congestion and complementing other transit options. These have been our top EV news stories for this week. If you found value in our coverage, we ask that you share this video online and be sure to subscribe so that we can continue producing this program. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, drive, fly, ride. Go electric.